Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Adarius and I'm the editor-in-chief of Drive One Reviews. If you guys are new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. As you guys can see right behind me here, I have the all-new 2022 Genesis GV70. This is all new for 2022. This rides on the same platform as the G70, which is the sedan of this SUV here. This does compete against the Mercedes-Benz GLC and also the BMW X3. So it does have some really good rivals here in this segment. But let's talk about the front styling here of the GV70. I think it looks very handsome in this luxury mid-size segment here. Looking at Genesis design language here, this does have these split LED headlights with an automatic low and high beam with the LED turn signal and daytime running lights. There's front parking sensors here at the lower part of the grille. And this area here is going to be functional to put an air curtain over the brakes and wheels. Also, like this large dark chrome grille here, looks really large. There's also the Genesis emblem on top of the hood here. There's a front facing camera. There's more of that gloss black and dark chrome trim here at the lower part of the fascia. I want you guys to comment down below in the comment section, tell what you guys think about the front styling here of the GV70. But making our way to the side profile here, looking at these tires and wheels here, these are a 255/40 Michelin tire. They're wrapped in this 21-inch rim design. This also has a dark chrome finish to it. I did film a GV70 about a week ago and I didn't like those wheels on that model. This model here has the Sport Prestige package, so it gives it more of an aggressive look, which I think it looks really nice. There's some gloss black trim here at the lower part of the door panel. There's also this LED side marker with this body colored mirror cap. And up top, Genesis does offer a large panoramic sunroof here to let light into the cabin with these aerodynamic roof rails here. And there's also more of that dark chrome around the window wells and on the door handles. The wheelbase here for the Genesis GV70 is at 113.2 inches with an overall length of 185.6 inches. But making our way to the rear here of the GV70, as you guys can see here, this is very sharp body line that runs at the top of the door panel all the way to the end of the D pillar here. But looking at these taillights here, they're gonna be a full LED with the LED turn signal, brake light, and reverse lights. The reverse lights live at the lower part of the bumper. There's these large dual tip exhausts here. My model does have the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder underneath the hood. There's rear parking sensors. There's the GV70 badge here with the Genesis name spelled out. This is rear wiper here to keep the rear glass clear. I wish Genesis would have integrated the rear wiper underneath the rear spoiler here. This is where the third brake light lives. As you guys can see, it looks very Jaguar-like. This does also have all-wheel drive, but keep in mind, like I mentioned from my previous review, this does look like a Ford instead of an all-wheel drive badge. Looking down here, that's the backup camera, of course, and the rear diffuser does look semi-aggressive. But open up the cargo back here, Genesis has the trunk release button right there. This does have a power opening trunk. As you guys can see, this has around 28.8 cubic feet of space. And once you fold down the rear seats via this handle here, that expands the cargo to 56.9 cubic feet of space. And there's also some areas here on the side to put some items. As you guys can see, there's this cargo net here. There's a 12 volt with LED lights here, just in case you guys are in a dark area. And lifting the low floor up here, it does reveal some underfloor storage, also with a temporary spare tire. Sitting in the interior of the Genesis GV70 here, my model does have the Sport Prestige package. As you guys can see here, this does have this two-tone color combination. There's also real aluminum trim in here, and this does come with a Lexicon sound system, which sounds pretty good. But reaching over here to shut the door of the GV70 and starting up the GV70 here, you guys have been asking for a 4-cylinder review here. My model does have that 4-cylinder underneath the hood. If you guys want a more powerful engine, you have to go for that V6. But looking at the door panel materials, it's going to be a nice leather here with some nice stitching, also with some aluminum trim here. It does have some aluminum trim here on the actual speaker cover. There's 2-person memory seats. It is automatic up, automatic down for all 4 windows, which is a really nice touch. You can also power fold the mirrors in via this button here. As you guys can see, the mirrors will power fold in and out. Looking down here, there's going to be additional storage and cup holder space. And like I mentioned, my model does have the Lexicon sound system. The hood latch is down there. Over here is going to be some controls for the automatic start-stop function, the dimmer switches. There's also a hill descent with traction control. And you can also open up the trunk there with electronic parking brake. And this is a power tilt and telescoping wheel here. It does offer a decent amount of range and adjustability. The headlight and turn signal stock does have a nice satisfied sound to them. As you guys can see here, my model does have this half LCD display, so if you're signaling left or right, it will display what's next to you in your blind spot. There's also paddle shifters here with this perforated leather, because my model does have 2-level heated steering wheel function here. And there's some touch sensitive controls here on the steering wheel, so you guys can go through your voice controls. Also, there's a scroll wheel here, so you can turn up the volume if you would like. There's a phone option here with a favorite button. There's some leather here on the actual steering wheel with this Genesis wing here. Over here is for the adaptive cruise control with the highway stir assist, and your wind wiper stalks are right there. Nice high quality leather here. Looking at the upper part of the dashboard here, nice leather with more than nice stitching with some aluminum trim here. There's the air vent here, of course. The push button start is right there with more of the aluminum like trim. This is touch sensitive panel here. This does have 3-level heated and cooled seats, and my model does come with the massage function. Once you press this button right here, it does display what type of function that you can get with the massage. I'm going to do a full body, and honestly guys, this thing feels so amazing getting the massage here. Also with the cool seats on, because it's like 100 degrees outside today. South Florida is becoming really hot. But looking here at this infotainment system, as you guys can see here, this does have a 14.5-inch display. It does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the touch response here is just really snappy. Going here to the Genesis interface, as you guys can see, I like the light icons here with the city in the background. The touch response is very snappy touch response here. As you guys can see, there's a quiet mode, there's a sound of nature. So if you guys are just getting off of work and you had a stressful day, you can play the sounds of nature to keep yourself really cooled and relaxed. If you guys want to touch the 14-inch display, you can use this rotary knob here. I do have long arms, so I can touch the screen really easily, or you can just adjust the seat a little forward so you can reach the screen if you would like. There's some shortcut buttons down here. Like I mentioned, this is a touch sensitive pad here, so you can customize the climate control, the fan speed and whatnot. So you can do a lot of stuff here with this display. It is dual climate control. Even the passenger has 3-level seats, but unfortunately it doesn't come with a massaging seat for the passenger. And you can also slide the seat forward and back via this button here, and also recline it if there wasn't a passenger here and behind this passenger seat. But putting the GV70 into reverse here, just put your foot on the brake and swipe over. I like this glass controller here. It does reveal a top-down 360 view. There's trajectory with distance markers, front and rear parking sensors. And clicking this icon here, you guys can actually check around the vehicle to see if there's any children playing or if you're close to a curve. This is just fantastic technology here, and my model is missing a heads-up display. Maybe if you go for the Sport Prestige with the 3.5 liter V6, Genesis might offer that on that model, but since my model has that 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, it does not offer it. There's an auto hold here. Switch it over here to go into neutral, and switch it again to go into drive, and clicking the P for park. This does house an 8-speed automatic transmission. You can also turn off the parking sensors via this button here, and you can access the camera via this button here. This is for the drive mode selector. It does show you eco, snow, comfort, sport, and sport plus. So it does turn off the traction control. As you guys can see there, the needle does glow a hot red. And clicking again, there's a custom mode, so it will cycle between your different drive modes there. But putting it back into comfort mode, over here is going to be this area here for your wireless phone charger. My iPhone 12 Pro Max does fit there just fine. There's 2 USB ports in there. I'm surprised that Genesis didn't put any Type-Cs in this vehicle. And like I mentioned from my previous review, my model does have smart park feature, so you guys can move this vehicle in and out of tight parking spots. So just in case someone parked too close to you and you can't get to the driver door, you can just pull it out of a tight parking spot. There's a lock, unlock function with a remote start function and a panic button. You can also access the headlights via this button here, just in case you're in a dark area. There's 2 cup holders here. Open up this, it does reveal a decent amount of storage. There's also a 12-volt in there with that removable tray. It's also lined with felt. This area is going to be nice and padded. I like the nice stitching here. The seats in here, they're so fantastic. They're very comfortable and supportive. This also has a 3-car garage mode there. It's going to be LED lights throughout the whole entire cabin. There's a sunglass holder here. It does a really good job of integrating it here with the dome lighting. And above me, there's this large panoramic sunroof. It does go into the actual cargo area just a little bit. And I like that Genesis has this tint to it, so the sun rays won't eat up the passengers in the rear. And looking at the glove compartment here, it does offer a large storage in there. But overall, I'm very impressed with the technology, also with this large infotainment system here. So Genesis did a really good job here with the GV70. But let's hop into the back seat. Getting into the back seat of the Genesis GV70 here, as you guys can see here, the door opens kind of nice and wide, but keep in mind guys, I'm only 5'8". I'm not the tallest person in the world, but getting back here, As you guys can see here, I do have a decent amount of headroom here because of this large panoramic sunroof cutout. And I like that Genesis has this tint to the sunroof here, so the sun rays won't come into the cabin and burn you guys up. But looking down here, Genesis says you get around 37.2 inches of legroom here in the back seat. This will have the seat to drive. I'm only 5'8". There's 2 mat pockets back here for storage. And you can also recline and slide the seat forward to give this passenger here a little bit more space. There's some features back here which include these rear air vents, a storage compartment here. There's also 2 USB ports here with a household outlet. But shutting the door here, this is nice high quality leather here with some red stitching, with some aluminum painted trim here, or real aluminum trim here. The window switches does have a nice click to it and satisfying sound. There's also this manual sunshade here to block out the haters, and above there's going to be this grab handle here with some LED lights, and you can recline the seat via this handle down here. So you want to scratch out on a long road trip, you can definitely do so. And there's this large hump here, so you can probably fit a middle passenger here, but it might be a little bit uncomfortable on a long road trip because my model does have the all-wheel drive system here. Putting this armrest down here, it does reveal 2 cup holders. Let's take a look underneath the hood here of the Genesis GV70. I know you guys were asking me for a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder review on the GV70. As you guys can see here, this model has that 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. It produces 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. If you guys are looking for more horsepower, Genesis will sell you a 3.5 liter V6. That powertrain produces 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. It's also paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. As the GV70 sits here, it weighs 4,100 pounds. My model is equipped with all-wheel drive. Fuel economy for this 4-cylinder is rated at 19 in the city, 26 on the highway, and 22 combined. So starting off in the Genesis GV70 here, my model has a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder underneath the hood. I know you guys have been asking me for a review with the 4-cylinder, and finally I got my hands on one. I tested the 3.5 liter V6. That makes 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. This has 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. This is the same engine that's sampled in the Hyundai Sonata inline, but since this vehicle weighs more than that Sonata, this weighs around 4,100 pounds, so this thing is pretty heavy. And this does have Genesis all-wheel drive. As you guys can see here, once I signal left or right, it will display what's in my blind spot. So this does have the blind spot monitoring cameras. And I mentioned from my previous review that it did have a 3D gauge cluster. I was trying to say it didn't have a 3D gauge cluster, so you guys let me know about that in the comment section down below. But my model here, it just has this standard LCD display on one side with the analog gauges on the other. As you guys can hear, the engine is off, and it starts up really smooth once you take your foot off the gas. I mean, take your foot off the brake. But the 4-cylinder, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it doesn't sound the best, but there is some pumped in audio sound through the speakers, of course. But it gets up to speed really good. But like I mentioned, if you guys want more horsepower and more torque, you have to look at that V6, because that one makes more horsepower and more torque compared to this 4-cylinder here. But the steering feel in here is very playful. I have it in its comfort mode. It feels extremely soft in here. The suspension feels really good. And right now I'm actually getting a massage as I'm speaking here. It's basically the bolsters are just basically being pushed up and down, and it feels really good. And the ride quality here is fantastic. But I'm going to put it into a Sport Plus mode here. Genesis gives you this toggle here to go through the different drive modes. So you have Snow, Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. With Sport Plus, it turns off the actual traction control. And the interior in here looks fantastic. The materials are up to par. Genesis did a fantastic job here with the GV70. You have this 14.5-inch display. I just wish this area here will basically go away. I looked through the manual book and also through the infotainment system to see if I could take that off, and unfortunately you can't take that off. As you guys can hear with it in sport mode, it sounds a little bit more loud, and I'm not a big fan of the sound, honestly speaking. But let's come to a stop here and let's turn off the traction control. So now everything is completely off. I'm gonna put my foot on the brake and accelerator. This thing does have launch control, by the way. Personally, just go for the V6. The V6 is gonna give you more drama, and I'm surprised to even hear that this thing had tires. The tires were chirping because it has all-wheel drive. So it's kind of funny to hear the tires chirping with an all-wheel drive car. And that's with everything turned completely off. But let's turn the traction control back on. And it does have an 8-speed automatic transmission. It doesn't have the dual clutch like in the Sonata. And as soon as I get ready to show you guys how to accelerate, the light will turn red. But once the light turns green, I'm just gonna floor it from the stop here. And I have it in the second gear. The paddles are responsive when I was pulling up to this red light here. I'm gonna turn off the automatic start-stop function. Most people will leave it on because it will help them save fuel in a sense. Foot to the floor. The 8-speed automatic, it does a really good job of shifting through the transmission, but personally, I wouldn't use the paddles. Not in this model here. I would use it maybe in the V6. The V6, I just like the V6 better. You get more horsepower, more torque. The fuel economy for this model is rated at 19 in the city, 26 on the highway, and 22 combined. So the 4-cylinder is pretty decent, not the best compared to that V6. Genesis does not offer a hybrid model or a plug-in hybrid model as of this filming. So if you guys are looking for anything like that, you probably have to look at the other competitors like the Mercedes, the Audi, and the BMW, because those offer the hybrid powertrains and whatnot. But this thing, it is what it is. It handles pretty decent, going on a little sharp turn there. But like I mentioned, if you guys want performance, real performance, I would just go for the V6 because it has more character to that V6 powertrain compared to this 4-cylinder. Starting price here for the 2022 Genesis GV70 with the Sport Prestige package is at $41,000 with the options and accessories including destination. The GV70 here stickers for $54,125. Hope you guys have enjoyed this review here on the Genesis GV70. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at Drive On Reviews and hit that subscribe button, and I see you all in the next review.